let me ask you about the one that has already been in the process of creation, the NIIF. What is going on? Why the delay in appointing the CEO? When do we finally see movement on that front? Because this has been on for a while now.
You see, there is no delay. I mean, the cabinet, I think, approved it last year in September or November. I think the cabinet approved it, and after that we had to sort of register the NIIF as a AIF, which has been done. Then the various structures had to be created. Internally, we have drawn people from various institutions like the State Bank of India or the IIFCL. We have drawn personnel as an interim arrangement, and there has to be a selection process of the CEO. The selection process
it's been underway for a while, so that's why I'm asking you why the delay.
You have to call for applications. You have to scrutinize
the over.
Then you have to scrutinize applications.
So hasn't a shortlist been drawn up yet?
No, I would not go into again. I mean, I would not like to go into where it is standing at the moment. But the process is in very advanced stage, and we will, so somebody will be appointed very shortly. And let me mention that even with this, from Finance Ministry, we are in regular dialogue with various, sovereign funds, pension funds, superannuation funds from countries of, let's say, in the Middle East, from Southeast, from Europe, and from, let's say with Russia, with Rusnano, we have already signed the MOU. And so there is considerable amount of discussion which has gone on. And there are two kinds of interests which are now being shown by the various investors from abroad. Basically the sovereign wealth funds. Some of them are showing interest in investing directly into the NIIF as a vehicle. Some of them want to invest in individual projects as a co-financier with NIIF. So the whole process is being taken forward.
So when can we see the first project, for instance, get investment or co-investment as per the NIIF route?
I think we should see it in the next, I would say in the next couple of quarters we should see.
Next couple of quarters?
Yeah. I mean, I am taking a slightly longer time. It could happen even in the next quarter. I don't want to, sort of say 2 months and then...
Fair enough.
But it's on top priority, and I would expect this to happen very, sooner than later, perhaps in the next quarter.
Perhaps in the next quarter. Let me also ask you then, sir, on IDBI Bank, because there seems to be a feeling that after the government sort of stepped on the accelerator, there seems to be now a little bit of a pullback. Where do things currently stand as far as the government's plan of the IDBI stake sale is concerned?
I think that is an outside perception. Probably the perception outside was that government is now pushing it, and the perception outside now seems to be that government is going slow. So far as government approach is concerned, it has been steady right from the beginning. And
so you're going ahead with it?
So, I mean, I'm not the final authority, so to say that we are going ahead with it, but it is a budget announcement, and whatever has been announced in the budget, action will be taken in line with that.
Let me ask you about another budget announcement, and that is the FRBM committee, sir. When can we see the committee being announced? Are the terms of reference going to be any different from what was announced by the budget? Will this committee be supervised by the Reserve Bank, for instance? What can we expect?
No, the committee will not be supervised by anyone. The committee will be independent. The committee will give its report to government, and government will take a decision. So far as the constitution of the committee is concerned, it will happen very soon, in a matter of days.
In a matter of days. Terms of reference any different from what was discussed during the budget, course of the budget? And also, whether the fiscal deficit should be an absolute value, should be a range. We've had this discussion during the budget time as well. What is the thinking on that?
You see, budget spelled out basically 3 things. Number 1, FRBM is under implementation for last 10 years. There have been significant gains both at the central and state levels because of the FRBM Act at the center and at the states. It also talked about the credit expansion or contraction to be aligned with, the fiscal expansion or contraction. It also talked about having a fiscal deficit range. Now, these were 3 broad themes which the budget speech highlighted. But there will be other aspects also which, which will form part of the terms of reference, other operational aspects about what kind of consultations, etc. they must have. And it will be announced very, very shortly.
Let me then ask you about the disinvestment list, because again, that's something that we've been waiting for. You were there when Mr. Kant said that in a month's time, NITI Aayog will send the Finance Ministry a list of possible candidates for strategic divestment. You budgeted a significantly aggressive sum in the budget from strategic divestments, over 20,000 crore rupees. What can we expect? How soon? Anything in this financial year?
You see, the disinvestment target of this year will be achieved. Now we just, now apart from the disinvestment, we are also focusing on buyback of shares. We did, a couple of buyback in the month of March, in the month of month of March, we did a buyback of HAL and another companies. So buyback is also another instrumentality, especially with regard to cash-rich companies with 100% government holding, or with companies where government has a significant majority. So there are these instrumentalities available, and DIPAM, that's the new name of the Department of Disinvestment, and NITI Aayog, they are working together, and the process will be taken forward.
I know you can't give me a specific answer on the next question that I'm about to ask you as well, but given where inflation currently is, do you believe that that it's going to be increasingly difficult for a rate cut in June, or do you believe that there is still a possibility of a rate cut in June? And are you disappointed that we still haven't seen the full transmission?
You see, with regard to inflation, let me say that normally at this, this time the inflation numbers have been impacted mainly because of sugar and vegetables. These are the two, items which have impacted the inflation figures, having slightly gone up. But still, it is within the range which forms part of the monetary policy framework. The agreement which has been signed between the Finance Ministry and the RBI. So therefore, it is within that range. And normally in the summer months, and the vegetable prices tend to go up, and this time more so because of consecutive 2 years of drought. So therefore it is, I would expect that to be a temporary factor, because overall all other aspects of inflation, they look quite stable. Pulses also, the inflation is at the same 34% as it was in the previous month, and with regard to pulses, number of steps have been taken by the government over the last 6 months to increase pulses production, to create a buffer stock and all that. Coming to the rates, well, RBI will have to announce, so I don't want to sort of speculate on that.
That there is a case?
But there is a case for, I would say there is a case for transmission of rates.
Quick question on FDI and whether we can expect any further changes as far as the FDI regime is concerned. And I also believe that perhaps it's going to be the end as far as the FIPB is concerned. Is that what the government is working towards?
You see, the focus of the government is to make everything process-driven. The focus of the government is, what the Prime Minister has described as a minimum government and maximum governance. And you would see in the, in the FDI policy which was spelled out last November and thereafter in the budget also, the sectoral caps are being increased. Large number of sectors, more and more sectors are being put on the automatic route. Take the case of the NBFCs, for example. 18 sectors, other than 18 sectors, everything required FIPB approval. In the budget, we have said that whichever sector there is a regulator and it is being regulated, there is no need, it will be put on the automatic route. So the guidelines for that will be issued very shortly.
Well, Mr. Das, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us on this special program as we assess the performance of the Modi government over the past 2 years. Always a pleasure speaking with you. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this CNBC TV 18 special. From all of us here, goodbye and many thanks for watching.